Today on Independent Wrestling Profiles, we're talking with the Style Siren Kingsley. When did you first discover the professional wrestling industry in any form?
Oh God. Okay, so I discovered professional wrestling in general. It's the most cliche thing ever. I have an older brother, so my older brother and I used to watch wrestling when we were kids. It was a thing back home where we would go to my nan's place or my grandma's place, and we would just watch SmackDown and Raw all the time. If there was a pay per view, we'd be super lucky and glued to the TV watching that. We had the Nintendo 64 games as well. So my favorite was the WCW No Mercy game when I was a kid, playing that with my brother. And then I think it just kind of trickled in like in my childhood as well. Like Nintendo 64 evolves into Xbox 360, getting all like the SmackDown versus Raw 2007s and all that. Just kind of like he was a very big influence into my my professional wrestling awakenings, and being introduced to that. So yeah.
You'll have to excuse my ignorance. I'm terrible with geography and things like time zones.
Yeah.
Was something like watching WWE SmackDown like easy to do? Did you have to watch it on a delay? Was it easily accessible?
Oh yeah, okay. So Australia, I think they're a day ahead of Canada. So if a pay per view was on a Saturday, it would show up on a Sunday for us, for
Okay.
example. So it's always been like that. Fridays would be a Saturday. So I'll watch SmackDown on a Saturday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, something like that. So we're always a day late when it comes to getting wrestling. So there was a channel called, I think you guys call it cable TV, or Americans call it cable TV. I don't know, but like it's like the extra channels you get. So we called that back in the day called Foxtel. You guys have Foxtel, but like it was like a thing called Foxtel, and then it has like a barrage of like extra channels, and I guess wrestling was part of those channels, and then that would be the ones that we'd always watch, and and it was always a day late.
So you were kind of exposed to this because your sibling was interested in it.
Yeah.
Did you immediately latch onto it, or was it something that kind of had to grow on you because it was just continued exposure? And second question, what was it about it, if you recall, that really appealed to you and really stood out to you and made you want to tune in on your own after that?
Okay, great questions, actually. So no, there's something infectious about wrestling. I think at the time where I was really prominent was like 2005. So that's when like Matt Hardy, Lita, and Edge, that was like the storyline. It had Batista was like the GOAT, Undertaker was killing everybody. It was great. Randy Orton was a menace. So it was like peak cinema in terms of wrestling. So, and I think at the time as well, I guess my group of friends were introduced to reality TV as well. So it was a mix of wrestling and drama, and that's what was the so I guess infectious part of wrestling, because it's not the Wiggles anymore. Like it's not like it's not kids TV anymore. We were introduced to like almost like real life real life scenarios, and was dramatic. So that's why I got hooked onto it. I love the drama of wrestling, and I guess on top of that, having the divas as well being so prominent in that era as well. Like Trish Stratus is like the GOAT. Melina was one of my favorites as well. Lita was my favorite. Lita's the reason why I dyed my hair red after high school. So, I feel like even though I guess the sexualization of women back then was a bit questionable. I still did. I've never seen women in wrestling ever before. like that prominent as well and used that much on TV before. So that's kind of like another dynamic, another side of why I got into wrestling and why I stuck with it. So yeah.
During this young fandom, did you have an opportunity to be exposed to live wrestling of any kind, whether it was one of the rare WWE shows that traveled there, or had you discovered the independent scene or anything like that? Like, when did you get your first taste of live wrestling?
Yeah, so I guess WWE would always kind of like come down here and there. So like I think mainly I really liked like the early era of like and like the black and gold NXT era. So I think those were like my first live shows, and I really enjoyed that. And I watched those with my brother. And then I guess once I started training. As a wrestler, that's when I got introduced to the independent side of things. Because before I even like fell into professional wrestling in Australia, I didn't know there was any of it at all. So I was looking at options overseas before I even considered Australia because I just wasn't aware of it at all. But once I got in and was introduced to it, I was like, oh, we actually have like such a rich history of Australian wrestling that I just didn't realize was around. And I'm glad that I didn't jump on a plane and and went somewhere else instead of around the corner from my house to start with. So yeah.
So was it at an early age that you kind of already had that kind of idea in the back of your mind that maybe this is something you'd like to pursue? Maybe you'd like to cross that barrier from fan to performer, or did that have to be led on by some sort of trigger event? Like, how did it actually come to be that you decided, I want to do this, and then actually took the steps to go and pursue it?
Yeah, so I guess I've always wanted to do it, but I just never knew how. So I always kind of looked at other avenues, like maybe getting into TV or acting or anything like anything of that realm instead. Or telling musicians what to do. I have a Bachelor of Entertainment Business Management, so I'm very good at telling band members and doing like artist representation or that, like I'm trying to do that. So if it wasn't wrestling, I was going to find a way into some sort of like music industry or film industry to hone my skills. So I still can do that as well, but I kind of just I was like, I don't know, something kind of just led me to wrestling. And I believe it was the Hardys returning to WrestleMania a couple of years ago. I think it was
Moment.
2017, I think. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, you know what? I don't want to be 80 years old and on a rocking chair and like not like having tried it. You know what I mean? I would have regretted it like wholeheartedly if I didn't do anything about it. So I tried it, and here we go. Thank you, Hardys.
So was it as simple as just like Googling a wrestling school near you? Did you have to find a contact? Like, take me through actually doing the action of getting into it.
Okay, so weird. So I was looking around, and there was a few schools in Australia, but I didn't really know which one was the most reputable. There just happened to be a Pro Wrestling Australia, a PWA tryout, which was near me, and that's my home brand that I work for. And there's a wrestler named Big Fudge. So he's a masked guy with a big chocolate bar, and he's super funny. Love him. But he actually messaged me and just like let me know, like, hey, we have tryouts. I know you're interested in wrestling, so it would be great to have you here. Blah blah blah. And I was just, you know what, I'll have a look at it. And and then I didn't tell my parents. Classic. Didn't tell my parents. I said I was working late in my little retail job and hanging out with my coworkers after work. So, and that was going to be dropped off. So they believed it. They believed it. And and I went to this tryout like straight after work, and I think it was probably like the biggest tryout they had at the time. It was about like, there was about 30 of us. Most of them were men, and it was me and my other friend, our best friend, Frankie B. It was just two girls, so just me and her. So it was daunting, but we were good. So So yeah, and then the rest is really history. We got through, and we're both of us are still wrestling now. So that class really got smaller and smaller. So I'm very happy that me and her, amongst a few others from that class, have pushed through and still wrestling today. So yeah.
Okay, so you get through the tryout, you're in the early stages of
Mm.
official training, we'll say.
Yeah.
What sort of feelings, emotions are you experiencing about the reality that this is something that's happening? And what sort of challenges are you being faced with that, not to say you couldn't overcome it, but maybe you needed to put a little bit more focus on in order to come out on the other end?
Yeah, so many challenges actually because it again is a male dominated industry, and at the time, so my coaches are Madison Eagles and Robbie Eagles as predominantly. We had other coaches like Caveman Ugg and Mick Moretti as well at the time. Basically, at the time we understood that like it was a male dominated industry, and we need to pretty much change attitudes and mindsets about women in wrestling. So at the time, I guess mentally it was really rough because like everyone's perspectives were changing. So we wholeheartedly believe in intergender wrestling. Everyone's just a wrestler, the girls are the same as guys. We're trying to change that from changing from, I don't know, it was just like women were just weren't like equal. And they still, I don't know, even at that time, it still really wasn't there yet. And so from doing that, plus the physicality of wrestling as well, my first bump felt like a car crash. So like it was mental, my back, oh my God, send me to the nursing home, honestly, God. But it hurts. Because honestly, like, yeah, I've done sports before. Like I've grew up doing martial arts. I've done, so my parents put me through so many sports. And like even high school they put you through different types of sports just to get you going, but like I've never done anything as impactful as wrestling. So it's a completely different ballpark. So that was another thing. I also understood that like I'm small. I wasn't as athletic as majority of the guys who were there. I can barely jump. I still can't jump. You know, I can't do a flip bump, mate. Like, if anyone asks me to do a flip bump and to actually flip, I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, we're not doing that today. Like, I've got boundaries. But yeah, so I had to pretty much get extra like lessons or privates with my coaches because I understood that like, yeah, I need to catch up because I was just uncoordinated, you know, but I really wanted to be a wrestler. So it's just genetics, I guess, or just some people are just really athletic and they can get on the spot. Other people can't. And I was just other people. So I just needed a bit more time and reps, especially with like the big class that we had. It was hard to like really like focus on me or another person to like get through like a few things over and over again. Whereas if you have a class of 30, you're only doing rolls once, for example, you know, and that's it. And then you wait till next week to do it again, you know? So that was that. So it was a lot. There's a lot going on when I first started. I feel like, especially with like women in wrestling and like the mentalities, it's a lot better now. And I'm glad that we all went through that together as a family. But also, yeah, it was very rough. Very rough.
So challenges are an inevitability. That's going to happen. When you hit those walls, where do you find that additional motivation or that support that helps you get through the hurdles and keep you from getting so discouraged that you perhaps just give it up?
Yeah, I was very lucky to have very supportive people in PWA. So PWA, like they were the first and only training school I've been to. So I've been to like overseas and everything and just like tried like different schools, but like that's my home academy. I was just absolutely blessed with like the best people because we're all going through the same thing, we're all going through changes, we're all going through the challenges, and they're just incredible, nice people, very motivating people. I'm very lucky that I have Madison Eagles, I had Charlie Evans, Jessica Troy, I had Steph DeLanda as well present, as female figures. Shaz McKenzie as well was a big help throughout my early days as well. So having prominent female coaches and figures around me was actually so good, and very lucky, because I don't think there was any other school that had that many females at training or on shows with that one home brand as well. So yeah, they were. If I didn't have those girls, I don't think I would have lasted very long. so yeah, but otherwise, everyone in general has been like very motivational. So it's very much people culture back in PWA. So I was very blessed for that.
Wonderful. One thing that I absolutely love to explore, because it can either be fantastic or a complete train wreck, is the first match experience. Can you take me through the events that led up to the first match, maybe your feelings of seeing yourself on a card for the first time, and then, of course, the match itself, how it went, and maybe the feedback that you got?
Oh, my first match. It's, I feel, okay, it's very, okay. So, okay. With my first match, it's always very funny to talk about, because it's just, it really shows like the attitudes at the time that's not really present anymore. So I was, I think, a year in. I've been doing extra work, just putting in myself with like privates as much as I can, trying to catch up. I am very, I don't know if you can tell, I'm very charismatic. But I had a character at the time I was working on, just pretty much just a rich girl, just to start off with, big fur coat, obnoxious. She lives in the tallest town, in the tallest building of Sydney, you know what I mean? So the old penthouse girl. So she was a bit bougie. But having said that, even though it's like a classic trope, I guess, that most girls go towards, it was something to work with, and I had that, and I was training extra hard, and Madison was like, hey, we need a girl or someone to just pretty much fill a spot in our sister company called Newcastle Pro Wrestling. It's just a scramble. You don't have to do much, just do your moves, get in, get out kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, absolutely, great, fantastic. Happy to do that. I feel like a couple of the boys caught wind of this and they were a bit bit doubtful of my abilities, because it was very, very fast. And like, I don't blame anyone for doubting my abilities that earlier on, because I was pretty new. But also, I love proving people wrong. So it's like, if a coach and a bunch of coaches have greenlit me to do a match, I don't think anyone should have a say in when and where I should be booked for my first match. You know what I mean? So I was very nervous, because having, like, yes, I've got the green light, but I knew people were a bit like doubtful of me. I was feeling a bit uneasy going in. The girls were great. They were so supportive. We love girls. So, so they were fantastic. I would never fault them. Girls are perfect. So don't you dare do this. No, but in saying that, but the girls were very supportive. So I walked in, I did my thing. I did the match. I did a promo as well. Everyone booed me. It was fantastic. I did my job. It was great. And then after the match, I had a lot of people go, you know what? Like, we were wrong. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you did great. Didn't mean to be an asshole, essentially. So I'm like, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm just like you guys. I just want to be a wrestler. So yeah, it was really good. It was very daunting. I overcame it, proved people wrong. I'm happy I did that. So, yeah.
So obviously you got past that first match, and you've been having matches since, because here we are right now.
Yeah.
When you think back to your career up until this point, what are some of the highlight moments that really stand out? And I don't just mean like great matches you had. It could be milestone matches, but it could also be chance encounters with personalities you never expected, or maybe even a fan interaction. Like, if right now I was to ask you moments that you hold the dearest in your career looking back, what comes to mind more immediately?
I think my time in as the Backslide Girls, my tag team was Shay Cassidy and Everett Connors. I feel like that is the first time I actually really enjoyed wrestling, and that was only like maybe 2, 3 years ago that we started that. I feel like before then I was just still trying to find myself, and I didn't. There was even a point where I was like, I hate this. Like this sucks, and I feel like my mental state wasn't the best before the Backslide Girls happened. I feel like finding the right people to work with really like helps a lot. And Shay Cassidy being one of my best friends, and Everett Connor is just such a sweetheart. They just made wrestling easy. And it was fun. We were a pop star group, dude. Like we sang our entrances, we did a dance, and we win with a backslide. Like it writes itself, that's wrestling. But I feel like our greatest achievements were within that group. Myself and Shay Cassidy, we won the very first Australian women's tag team championships like that's ever happened in the country. So, and that was presented by Bull Nakano like a week after her Hall of Fame induction. So yeah, so that was really fun. That show was called the Her Show, organized by Mickey James and a bunch of like other female wrestlers like Victoria and Alicia Fox were there as well. So it was really like, it was a nice, like that was a nice event, like not only achieving that, but also meeting those people, but also sharing the locker room with just all the girls, like not just in Sydney, but like across the country with Mickey James and like Victoria. It was mad. So felt like a girls' sleepover, but wrestling, and then also like me winning the first ever women's championship for a little state called Canberra. The promotion's called Slam Pro Wrestling, and they have a very small girls division. They really wanted to build it and like get more girls in, and they asked me to represent them. So I was very honored to be asked to that, because a lot of my friends work for Slam Pro Wrestling, and having them trust me, not only be a champion, but like a good heel champion. So being a bitch, which I'm very good at. But yeah, and then eventually passing it on to the next girl, like that was, I really enjoyed that. So, and putting some sort of importance on that belt and handing it over to the next great girl, which was Rita Stone. She's fantastic. So yeah.
So take me through a little bit of your current adventures, because you are not at home right now, to my knowledge. You are currently around my neck of the woods. Yes. Go through some of the traveling that you've done and some of these experiences. I can't imagine it's an easy thing to just pack up and move halfway around the world to do additional professional wrestling. So take me through a little bit of that.
Yeah, so oh god, it's hard. it's hard, but I'm glad I made the jump. It was a very easy process in terms of like the visa process. It's a fee. You get your fingerprints done, you get a criminal check done. You pretty much go through all the checks on their end, and they go, yep, greenlit, and then you just kind of like choose a date to like fly in, and then the moment you land in Toronto or in Canada or wherever you do in the country, that's your 2 years that starts. So that's the easy part, surprisingly. It's everything after that, like the actual living. That's hard. So didn't realize Toronto was so expensive. It's crazy, guys. Like, what are we doing? But in saying that, I've never experienced so much freedom before. I used to have a corporate job back home, and then on the side I would do wrestling. Now I'm kind of just floating around. I don't know, and just like eating beaver tails, trying poutine, whatever the heck that is, the chips and gravy thing. But it's been really cool, like actually like exploring another side of the world and wrestling. It's so cool. The reason why I did make the jump is because a lot of the opportunities that we would see overseas would rarely ever come to Australia. So we would always have to wait for like like for example a WWE Elimination Chamber or something like that to come here, come to Australia, sorry, and then we'll like maybe we'll get a tryout or maybe you'll get extras or something like that. But that's about it, that's it. And then you have like the odd like international come in here and there for a couple of days and then they fly back. Like there's nothing, like I've done everything that I wanted to do back home. So, and making the jump here like was such a good decision because there's so much more wrestling, so many more contacts and networking opportunities that I wouldn't get back home. I had a TNA tryout in my 3rd week here. Like it was like just crazy. Like I would never get that before. That happened, and just you meet the most craziest people ever. Like it's mental, like absolutely mental. So I'm very happy I made the jump. I'm very excited to see what else happens to me. So Canada, woo.
So may I ask, what was it that led you to Canada specifically? Did you have a connection there? Was there an opportunity, or was it just like a random, I'm going to throw a dart at the map and see where I land? Like what brought you to Toronto specifically?
Oh God, if I did the random thing, oh God, imagine what I could do with my life. No, I'm very, I like to make a decision and make sure it's the right one. So we had a bunch of our Australian guys go to Canada recently, and they came back and they said how much they loved it. So I think as of late it was Julian Ward and Kaz Jordan from the ATO. They had a really good run here. And yeah, it was just, they just couldn't stop saying how good it was. So I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to apply and see what happens. And then everything happened. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was easy. But it's also next door to the US as well. So the US visa is very expensive. So very expensive, very like hard to get. So my thought process is as long as the US is next door, maybe some US opportunities might come to Canada, and I can legally work those type of opportunities. So, we don't have that back home. So already like it's already worked in my favor. So having opportunities with TNA already. So that was really cool. But yeah, it just makes sense. Like I want to be on TV. I would like to be a TV wrestler at some point, or work behind the scenes for TV wrestling. So I just felt like the US and Canada being next door to each other, like that makes sense to me. And those are the type of opportunities that would actually come my way if I went to Canada, since I can't afford the US. So yeah.
So you've already experienced quite a bit, and I don't want to deviate too much, but I got to ask, what was maybe the biggest like culture shock thing that happened to you where you came to Canada and you were just like, oh, this is not like at home?
Oh, okay. Well, surprisingly, Toronto is very, very similar to Sydney, where I'm from. It's just, the legalized cannabis is mental to me. Like, we don't have that back home. Like, not that I'm not into it, but like, it's just like, just casually, just people are just smoking weed everywhere. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's normal. So, and that, I have no qualms about it at all, but it's just like, I'm not used to it. It's just like, damn, okay, cool. Yeah, there's not really much like culture. I guess the hockey and like the baseball, we don't really have that back home. We're very much a rugby league or an AFL type country. We love cricket as well. So I guess we have a sport culture, but like your sports is a bit different to ours. So everyone's a bit crazy for the hockey at the moment. I really enjoy baseball. I didn't think I would be really into baseball. I bought my first baseball hat the other day. Go Blue Jays. Woo. So that's been fun. Yeah, not really much else that I can really say.
Okay, so it might be a little bit challenging to ask somebody who's already halfway around the world from their normal home, but what are some of the bucket list items? Where do you want to see yourself next, whether that be another promotion that you haven't been able to work with yet, or a city you'd like to travel to, or even just maybe a competitor that you'd like to get in the ring with?
Oh, okay. Very, very, very cool. I mean, I would love to explore more than the nature side of Canada. That'll be cool, like the mountains, Vancouver sounds cool as well. I've got a friend named Ricky South who's just moved there as well. He's also doing the wrestling thing. He's one of my guys back home in PWA, so he's experiencing that end of Canada. So it'll be very interesting to see if I can like actually visit Vancouver one day and see if there's any difference between Toronto and Vancouver. But there's Nicole Matthews over in Vancouver. I would love to wrestle her, actually. I think she's fantastic and she's a lovely person. So that's like someone like a bucket list person I would like to tick off. Maple Leaf Pro is actually doing such great things as well. So that's one of the promotions I would hope to like work towards while in Canada. See how that goes. I think Giselle Shaw is like fantastic, and I feel like also being Filipino, the representation is represented, so it's really nice to see someone of my culture being champion as well. So would love to have a bout with her, or even just say hello to her. That'll be nice too. So those are kind of like, I know it's so early, but like those are the kind of like the, I guess, the future goals, I guess, at the moment that I have on my list. So yeah.
Okay, so just to play off that question a little bit, I got to do the cliche wrestling interview 101 thing and ask you, who is the dream opponent? If I could wave a wand and say, tomorrow you are going to be competing against X, who would that be?
Oh, Io Sky. 100%. I've said in every single interview I do, like, who's your dream opponent? It's like, it's Io Sky or Io Shirai. Like, I always get those names mixed up, but like, yeah, she's the best, like actually like a genetic athletic freak. And I probably might be able to keep up with her, honestly, but I feel like me being a really good character wrestler, and like I know how to wrestle at least, and she's just incredible. I feel like we'd have a really, really fun match. So I think she's doing like just leaps and bounds, and I feel like she's such a good representation for women in general. So she's definitely my no-brainer. Absolutely.
Amazing. So I do like to just step away from the ring a little bit and ask, if you have an opportunity to get away, recharge the batteries, what sort of hobbies, pastimes do you like to participate in?
Oh, I love sleeping. I'm so tired all the time, babes. Like, oh God, no. But like, other than passing out, I love to draw. Love drawing. I do a lot of like gear designs for myself and for like other wrestlers. So I do a lot of that. I try to be as productive as possible. So like, it's probably like, I usually just update my resume usually as much as I can, make it look all pretty and everything and professional. Because I don't know, I have like this fear of wasting time. But then on the flip side, I love to sleep. So it's like, I just kind of like ruin that momentum when that happens, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm a very good drawer. Not to toot my own horn, but yeah, I love doing that. I love to sing. I'm a trained vocalist, so that's a nice little hobby I have too. I would love to make that a bit more professional as well, because if you're good at something, you should get paid for it, in my opinion. So yeah, other than that, the weather has been fantastic in Toronto lately. It reminds me of like an Australian summer at the moment. So like the walks and the bike rides lately have been pretty good. So my cardio has been very good lately. It's been like every day I've been on a bike. It's great. So yeah, and you know what? I've never actually ever walked or biked this much before, like ever. I used to hate walking, and now I've actually started to grow fond of it. So, which is weird. I'm just like, sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, who am I? Like, it's so crazy. So, yeah, just plain and simple. These are my hobbies at the moment. So sleep, draw, sing, bike, walk. So
okay, so big fan of music, I take it.
Yeah.
You're going to go for one of these walks or bike rides, and you toss on the headphones. What's the go-to playlist?
Oh, it depends on my mood. So I have like different playlists for different moods. So
give us a couple, examples.
You gotta. Okay, one of my favorite playlist I've ever made is called the Mum's Vacuuming at 7 a.m. playlist. When like it's so it's like It's all my mum's favorites. It reminds me of her a lot, so this is why I'm quite fond of it. But it's always the songs she would blast, like when I was a kid, like at 7 a.m. and she has to vacuum the house, and then she would knock on my door and be like, "Oh, wake up! I've got to vacuum the room," And it's just, and I'm like, "Oh, mum," and then friggin' like Gloria Estefan is blasting in, So I really like that playlist. It's very like Whitney Houston, Gloria Estefan, very what's it called? It's just like like a '90s like hair commercial kind of vibe. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's kind of like I really like that playlist because it's just like a feel good, homely feeling with that playlist. And then you got the flip side. I like my emo music, so. And that's usually when I really want to get the cardio in. So I need someone like screaming at me in
Okay.
my ears to like be like, yeah, okay, we're pedaling, let's go. Love that, Sleeping with Sirens and all that. So got that going. And then I got my R&B, which is like usually on a Friday. I like to play that because back home we call it R&B Fridays. And that's your Neos, Marios, your Shanties, your really like your early like 2000s, late 90s like R&B tracks. So yeah, I listen to everything. Like it really just depends on the mood, honestly. But yeah, I don't know about today. Today is very much, oh God, I don't think I even listened to music today. Oh God, that's bad.
Oh.
Something.
Okay, so I don't want to drive home too much on the music point, but whenever I get into a discussion with people about music, I
Yeah.
do also have to ask this question, and it's a cliche for me.
Mm.
First concert, best concert.
Oh, okay. My first concert was Sade with my parents. Absolutely love Sade. If I could sound like Sade, like I would not shut up. Like, and I really don't shut up, you know what I mean? But like, if I sound like her, Jesus Christ, the things I could do with that voice, I think she's absolutely fantastic. I feel like I didn't appreciate it as much as I did back then because I was a teenager, and I went with my parents and just like, oh God, I'm going with my parents. This is so uncool. But it was like amazing. I love Sade. She's the best. That was like when I was 15. I'm gonna say maybe, yeah. So that was a long time ago. Best concert. Oh my god. Okay, it's a three-way tie, to be honest,
Okay.
because it all happened like in the 1 year, and that was like the time of my life. Like it was really, really good. Like it was a good year for Sydney and concerts. Like everyone just showed up and was mental. So it was Paramore. Paramore was just amazing. Like vocally, Hayley Williams again. If I could have a talent in my pinky, oh my god, the things I could do. Paramore, Limp Bizkit, and this Italian band called Måneskin. They're my favorite. They won Eurovision a couple of years ago, and they're just a fantastic rock group. They're fantastic, and they're really hot too, so they're really nice to look at. So, but like just like that really like rebellious energy, like we haven't had that in such a long time in a band, I feel like, and it was really nice to see that again. And in concert, oh, the best. God. Oh, I also saw Janet Jackson and Black Eyed Peas. There's too many. There's too many. Like to say that's the best, but Janet Jackson and Black Eyed Peas as well. Phenomenal stuff, absolutely as well. So I can't choose. Don't make me choose.
Oh. See, I always thought it was an easier question. I didn't know it was going to be so difficult. I mean, I have no problem answering it. So,
but yeah, so hard to choose.
So just getting back into the ring side of it, one thing I like to ask everybody just before, like, we kind of close out, and it's a little bit, tougher for some people. You have an opportunity to go back in time and talk to a young version of yourself who is just contemplating or getting into training. What piece of advice would you give yourself that could possibly also aid somebody today who is in a similar predicament?
Oh, okay. I would just tell her wrestling's fake and it's not, none of the drama is actually real. Anyone that makes anything real, like any like issues real, it's not real because it's just a bunch of people fake fighting without contracts. You know what I mean? I feel like being a lot older now, I'm a lot I'm not really scared of people and telling it how it is because it's nothing to me really. I just love wrestling, and I feel like my younger self really needs to remember like why they got into wrestling in the first place, and it's because you love it and it's fun, and wrestling should be fun. So my younger self should just remember wrestling's fake. Make sure it's fun. Make sure you have fun, and don't listen to the noise because the noise doesn't matter in the end at all. So yeah.
All right. Wonderful. So before we sign out, can you just let people know once again who you are and maybe where they can follow you online if they want to keep up to date with what you got coming up?
Yeah. So, hi, it's me, Kingsley. I'm on Instagram and, they call it X now.
Yeah, I still say Twitter.
Twitter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not calling it X. No.
Oh, who's doing that? God. So I'm on Twitter. So on Twitter, it is at, hi, it's me, Kingsley. Crazy, right? But on Instagram, it's completely different. It's at Kingsley_PW. The PW stands for pro wrestler. Crazy. So creative there. So you can find me there. You can find me on my socials. You'll find out where I am. And if I'm in your town, just come in and say hello. So, and I'll say, hi, it's me, Kingsley. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, I appreciate you having me as well. So this was fun.
Thank you for tuning in to Independent Wrestling Profiles. Please help out the show if you can with a like, subscription, or review. We'll see you next time.